Welcome to Clean Your Toilet podcast. When was the last time you cleaned your toilet? Well, today we're not just talking about physical clutter, but we're also talking about mental and spiritual overload. So I am Yen-Lyng, your host for today, and I'm also one of the directors for A1 Environment, where we recover used coffee grounds and give them a second life. And today I have with us our guest, Xing Jian.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm Xing Jian here. You can also call me XJ. I'm an ICF Master Certified Coach, and my chosen specialization in my coaching practice is men's mental health. And that's something that I'm passionate about. I also have a background in communications and PR and journalism. And that's kind of where I started my working life.
Wow, okay. So you have quite a track record over here.
I don't know about the track record. I just say what industries I've been in. Track record, people can go online at LinkedIn and see and decide if it's a track record or not.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, today we're going to be talking about sustainability.
Yes.
Going green, environmental responsibility, which is something which is part of my industry.
Yeah.
But these are all buzzwords that we hear all the time, right?
Okay.
But what do they really mean? You know, are we really doing something for the good of the earth, or, you know, is anything we're doing actually moving the needle? So Xing Jian, let me pose you a first question.
Yes.
Is there any action that you do that you do consciously for the sake of being sustainable?
Oh, okay. So one thing, and this was a habit given to me by my mom. You know how when we drink those Tetra Paks,
Yes.
right? I specifically take the time to flatten every Tetra Pak after I'm done with them.
Okay.
And all my friends will always look at me and say, why are you so xiao? Like, why are you
Why
taking
do
the
that?
extra time to do that? Then I'm like, because it helps save space, and we have already too many landfills. You know, like landfills are filling up. That's what I understood, the reason why you should flatten things, because not that it's going to make the rubbish disappear, but apparently how much space rubbish takes also matters.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's something that I think I can authentically say I do, like religiously. I always flatten my Tetra Paks.
And you picked that up from your mom.
Yeah.
So your mom told you.
But
that
she
this
didn't
was the
talk
way.
about it like from a sustainability thing.
Okay.
Like I kind of learned the extra knowledge about like how, you know, landfills are filling up, and it's because of how people like irresponsibly treat garbage, etc. And this is like a very small way you can help, like just flatten the thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, the reason for flattening is not really
not
for
a
the
space thing.
landfill.
I see.
It is a space
It's a
thing,
space
but
thing.
it does not directly correlate with the landfills.
I see.
Because in Singapore, we burn everything, and the ash is the only thing that goes into our landfill.
I see.
There's the Macau landfill, the only landfill that we're left with. So saving space is more of, say you throw it in your school, right?
Yeah.
Your school has, as with a lot of places in Singapore, limited space.
Correct.
And that is where the space is being taken up. So that's where you try not to overflow bins. That's why we keep our streets clean. That's why we keep the bin center clean, etc., etc.
Then is that considered a sustainability thing?
It is.
Okay. Because then it sounds, what's the way you said it, then I thought, that sounds more like a operational efficiency thing for the cleaners and that process.
So that's the thing that is I come from waste management. We collect waste,
I
right?
see.
What form of waste it is just a matter of business, I feel, right?
Okay.
So when it comes to waste, I actually got into this industry purely out of luck. I came from marketing. So I joined the company as part of marketing, right? And that's where I learned all the back ends of like why we do certain things. And this was one of the things that I learned as well on the job. So
cool.
you don't, you do certain things, certain ways so that it makes it easier for the operations.
Down the line.
Yes. To actually try and keep the system in place to be sustainable. Because recycling doesn't mean you throw it in a bin, it gets recycled. It passes through a lot of hands.
Okay.
So how do we make those jobs easier down the line so that it becomes more efficient?
I see.
Because with efficiency comes less carbon footprint. I'm just simplifying it down.
I know.
Yeah,
but it's all part of this whole big process.
Yes.
And this big movement to try to basically be more sustainable.
That's right. That's
Understand.
right.
Okay, so it's not as useless as I thought it was. It actually does contribute a little bit.
It does.
Okay,
It does.
I feel a bit better.
But that's the thing, right? Where it is all systems.
Yes.
We are cogs in a bigger machine.
Yes.
Right. And I think a lot of times the question is what I'm doing actually making a difference? Right?
Yeah.
For a lot of people, it's donating their used clothes instead of throwing it away.
Correct.
It's buying natural fibers instead of synthetic fibers. It's bringing your own bag, bringing your own bottle to go and buy stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it can feel very insignificant when your small little actions, right? And that's where I think that whole struggle is. I think the conversation nowadays is getting better.
Yes.
But having come from the industry, been in the industry for about 15 years now.
Wow. Okay.
That conversation was a struggle in the beginning.
I see.
I told you I joined it as marketing,
Correct.
right?
Struggle meaning like personal struggle.
The struggle to get
The message out.
get the message out, or get individuals such as yourself to say, Tetra Pak. Tetra Pak to fold it down was actually a message come out with from Tetra Pak themselves.
Right?
Yes, that's right. Because they basically created a product so unique
Yeah.
that they were trying to recycle as well.
Ah, okay.
Right. But recycling only works when it's at scale.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's you trying to reuse your Tetra Pak, which you will not do. It's waste.
Correct.
It's meant to be disposable, right? So when you make a disposable product, I think in the past, companies did not think about, so how am I going to recycle?
After, right?
Yes, right. It's just pure convenience. Yeah, which it did its job. You drink, you throw, and that's it. So after that, it was like, okay, now there's enough people using our product and it's a significant part of the waste stream.
Yes.
Now, how do I recycle it then?
Okay.
Right. So that is how recycling comes about in a way. But we're talking about the operations part of it, and we say, it doesn't feel like we are actually doing anything.
Because I remember the exact memory like I was mentioning earlier, right? That my brain got a bit switched off to like sustainability.
Yes.
And my personal I guess effort or contribution. And
why?
And why, right? The moment was when I watched this piece of news, and I can't remember how accurate it was, but it talked a little bit about things like not using plastic straws, and maybe like me flattening my Tetra Pak. And they were just talking about percentages of waste around the world and who are the main contributors. And actually, if the world wanted to see a significant kind of change or improvement in pollution, etc., we should be targeting the big industries, because they are the ones that are churning out all that pollution and the waste and everything. And that is the reality, right? So I remember there was some percentage people this is the percentage shift from using a recyclable straw versus a plastic straw. Then I'm like, it's so small only.
Yeah.
Where's the majority of plastic actually coming from that's actually contributing to that mass of plastic floating in the ocean? Is actually then right? All the other industries.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my goodness. Then my mind went to lobbyists and all the politics and how capitalism and people just want that money and they don't care. And then you can feel my energy start to go down.
Yeah.
It's oh.
So I think that piece of statistics, I think, didn't come out that long ago. It was just a couple of years ago.
Correct, it's quite recent
as well. Yeah, it's quite recent. I disagree with that piece of news. At the same time, the statistics, the numbers don't lie.
Correct.
Right? It really is, when it comes to the larger picture, kind of insignificant, especially when you talk about plastic straws, right? They're so light. And we weigh everything in the industry. I mean, we measure everything in the industry by weight. So plastic straws, very little. But I think where this helps is just consciousness, just awareness, right? The fact that like I fold down my Tetra Pak, it brings down certain space. So when I talk to you about operationally, this helps us. Why does it help us? You're like, oh, okay, that totally makes sense.
Correct.
So now, like, I understand why you want to do things certain way, and that makes us from a service provider, actively, collecting the waste and then trying our best to find some other recycling method or even trading method to make this process more efficient. It makes our jobs easier.
Okay.
Right. So next time I tell you, hey, instead of folding it, maybe you cut it up would be better. Right. Not saying that it is better.
I know. Yeah.
But then you're like, once you hear the reason, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, my buy-in is more it's easier for me to buy in.
Yes, as compared to, like you mentioned, I started in this industry about 15 plus years ago.
Yeah.
And that the conversation was very different. The conversation was actually convincing people why you should recycle. What is recyclable and what is not, right? Now, I think the question comes the other way, where you're a member of the public will be asking us, can I recycle this?
Correct.
And when I tell them, yes, you can, yes, you cannot, the question is, why, of course, but once they understand why, they're like, oh, okay. They get it.
Yeah.
And it's not just...
Because the awareness has increased,
yes,
right? Yeah.
Right. So that in that way, I feel like, oh, we're making an impact.
I see.
But it's not just about you as an individual. I myself, as part of a company who actually recycles waste, right?
Yes.
Coffee grounds. Sometimes I have the existential crisis as well.
Really?
About like,
even though you're in the industry?
Yes, I think it's even more so sometimes, because the industry, when we're talking about a company, I mean, let's be real, it's about money.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
You have to earn money.
Yeah.
I said this quite recently in another talk that I had as well. I don't believe so much in social enterprises, especially when it comes to systems like waste systems.
Okay.
Because I feel we live in a capitalist world, right? We have such systems at scale only because it makes money.
Yes.
Like, why would I be collecting 50 tons of a certain type of waste if it does not benefit me in some way? Right? On an individual level, I would say, okay, you want to recycle coffee grounds? People approach me as well. Say, I want to recycle coffee grounds. How can I do so? I say, I'm so sorry. Unless you want to pay me a certain fee every month to come down to your house and collect your grounds, I myself don't think it's worth it. You definitely won't think it's worth it, right?
Yeah.
But I would say, like, hey, why don't you just use it in your garden, right? Or you can use it as a deodorizer. There are a few different uses for used coffee grounds, right?
Yeah.
At least before you throw it away.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So if I'm going to start a business and continue a business to recycle used coffee grounds and make something out of it, I have to be earning some money.
Yes. 100%.
If not, I would just start gardens and then just
correct. Yeah.
start putting the coffee grounds inside it.
Exactly.
So that's where that internal struggle is as well.
Okay.
Where it is, hey, is this for sustainability or is this for the company?
Okay. So I guess first thing, thank you for sharing with me that me folding Tetra Pak got some use.
Every little bit matters.
So that helps me. Then I was thinking that maybe I can help you, right? Because so far, as I listen to you share, there is this little tension, right? Like you said, even after 15 years in the industry, sometimes you still struggle with the whole, like, do my actions actually contribute? And then vis-a-vis, like, I still need to earn from a business and it's not that easy. Yeah. And my job actually is to help people unpack tensions and conflicts and maybe confusing situations.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So are there questions you'd like to ask or something that I can, directly help you with?
Yeah, I think one of the main issues is people think of sustainability as oh, you should be doing it for the sake of sustainability, right?
Oh,
You say you're an eco warrior, so you should be doing it from the good of your heart,
Okay.
right?
These kind of phrases, right?
Yeah, that's right. They come to us and say, okay, we get it a little bit less right now, but they do come to us and say, hey, I want to donate my coffee grounds.
Okay.
And then when we tell them, oh, we charge for it. And they're like, why? Why do you charge? I'm giving you
the product, right?
the product. And because we have only recently actually started to make products out of it. So they say, hey, we're giving you a raw material for your thing for free. Like, isn't that great? Like, shouldn't you at least be paying me?
Yeah.
It's that Garang Guni mindset that we have, right? Last time, Garang Gunis would come to your
homes and then,
yeah, you know, and then they would come and collect things like your electronics, your TVs, your papers and stuff.
Yeah.
And they would pay you for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think a lot of Singaporeans have that mindset.
Yes.
That I should get paid for giving you that waste.
Correct.
I also had encountered one or two people, I think my mom was one of them as well, who the Garang Guni, you know, they used to pay like $2 for a stack of newspapers. And then whether you know it or not, these Garang Gunis are also affected by like the world economy and the trading scene out there. And the price of paper just went down so much.
Yes.
And so they were offering like 20 cents.
Instead of $2, right? Times have changed.
Yes. And my mom was like, 20 cents? I might as well just throw it away. I don't want to give it to you. Yeah. And then she just said, no, I don't want to give it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, even for 20 cents.
Yeah.
And it just when it was not the point, right? The whole point of getting the Garang Guni. I think people miss the point of the roles of people like us. Actually, for us, we are just one step above a Garang Guni, right?
Okay.
Where actually moving back into A1, just to give you a little bit of context, right? Mm-hmm. We used to trade paper.
Oh, okay.
And we were the ones who collected from Garang Gunis.
I see.
Our Garang Gunis would come to us and then trade the paper off to us and stuff. And then we'll trade it off to larger traders. So in sort of that whole pipeline, we are just one level above Garang Gunis. So we collect used coffee grounds right now in sort of the same manner. So back to the point of where people used to say, hey, can I donate my grounds to you, or can I sell it to you? Yeah. I say, I don't want to receive your donations of a waste that's abundant anyway. Okay. And I'm sure as hell not going to pay you for it. In fact, you should be paying me for it. Yeah. And I think maybe growing up in that environment as well, like from the Garang Guni mindset, that struggle is also why.
Yeah. So then what's the new pitch? Like, why should you pay me for giving me coffee grounds for free?
So I think that's where education has come in. You know, it goes back to the original conversation that we were having, where education is so important, because people have started to realize waste, you should be responsible for your waste, right? With a lot of people throwing things away down our rubbish chutes, especially if you live in HDB apartments. It's very easy, out of sight, out of mind. You throw it away, you don't know where it goes to. Correct. Right? But someone takes care of it. My rubbish chute is always available for
you
me.
Pay your conservancy fees and everything.
But people also forgot that they pay conservancies fees. I mean, usually it's the parents who paid it. Right? Yeah. So we never had this mind of like, oh, I am paying to have waste taken away from me. I am paying to have a recycle bin in my at my block, estate, in front of my house. And all these actually cost money, right? The guy who comes by every morning to collect my waste needs to earn a living and get paid, has to eat and everything. So it actually is an expensive endeavor to do all this. So I think conversation has changed over the years. People understand that a little bit more. That's why I get that question less and less nowadays. It's sort of it's negotiation as with any business of like, can you charge me a bit cheaper instead of this? Yeah, but I think internally as well, knowing how businesses work, and I know the market rate out there as well, we are on a little bit, we try to keep things low because we know, like, say you are going to recycle your grounds with me, you're also trying to do your part, right, and recycle. So it does cost you money. We understand that.
Okay.
Bottom lines are very precious
So
to every
people
business.
walk in and just do the coffee ground, like they come in with bags of coffee grounds? Or are we talking about more like cafes and restaurants?
We do B2B, so a lot of cafes and
correct.
restaurants. But we do still get individuals.
Really?
Yeah, reaching out to us, say, hey, can I recycle my coffee grounds?
Okay.
I tell them I cannot. I cannot go down to your house and collect it. But we have a drop-off point in our office. If you want to, you can go to our warehouse and drop it off.
And this one they have to pay?
At your own cost.
Yeah, because they're handling their own transport and everything. Okay,
That's
understand.
right. Yeah, but I also do have to. I think nowadays I do have to preface that with asking them how much coffee grounds do you actually have.
Yeah,
because some companies actually have like a huge amount.
Yeah,
they say, okay, I can drop it off, and they drop off like a few hundred kg. I'm like, I cannot. This is also a chargeable service that I do need to look at. But if you're talking about 5 kg lesser, which usually individuals or households have, then that's okay. Yeah.
You mean you have individuals who try to drop off like a few hundred kg?
I mean individuals who run a business.
I see.
Yeah. So because they have their own logistics partners as well, so they say, okay, I can drop it off for you on the way, but it's too much. I cannot process it all at one go.
Okay.
But I think only 1 or 2 so far instances. So it's still okay, but yeah, that's where I think internal struggle is where.
Yeah, tell me more about the internal struggle part.
Yeah,
I'm still hearing the ops struggle, less of the internal struggle.
The ops struggle is the internal struggle because that's where you have to charge for it. Yeah. Right, and that's where business comes into play.
Yeah.
Right, and that's where costs are rising right now.
Yeah.
So you have to say, hey, I need to charge a little bit more for this. Yeah. Right, and. Also, just to give you a little bit more context, we used to charge more or less to cover our logistics to recover the coffee grounds.
Okay.
Because we were sending it to local farms, local community gardens to get them composted, and then we used to grow stuff, right? Nowadays, we have a few materials that we are creating from used coffee grounds also.
Yeah.
And that's where the more complication comes in, because creating new new materials from coffee grounds is a very expensive endeavor. That's number one. But money is one part of it as well. Yeah. A lot of our operations cannot be held in Singapore because it's too expensive.
Okay.
If I tell you I make a cup of used coffee grounds made entirely in Singapore, but it's going to cost you $50.
Ooh.
Will you buy it or not? No, right?
Probably not. Yeah.
But that's, I think, on the lower end of how much it would actually cost.
Wow.
To make something in Singapore.
I see.
Right. So I have to then find our regional partners, who can actually make something out of it.
Yeah.
So we currently have production in Vietnam.
Correct. Okay.
We're trying to see whether we can move it closer to home, maybe in our neighboring country, Malaysia and stuff. But still, that question, and actually this question was actually posed to me also by a student. Yeah. I think she was like 14 or something like that, a couple of days ago as well. And it was so serendipitous that I was going to come on this podcast. She's like, if you say it costs so much energy to create all these products, is it worth it? Yeah. And that question is like, is it worth it or not?
Yeah.
If we are trying to upcycle product,
correct.
But in the end, it seems like we are using more energy.
But this is not upcycling, right? Or it is?
It is considered upcycling.
I see.
Downcycling is where composting Yes,
I
right.
see.
We make it into compost and stuff. That was the downcycling part. If we want to make it into another product that the value is higher, then that's upcycling. And then you can use it for more items than what it was meant for in the first place.
Yeah. So the student's point that it does consume
it's valid.
more.
It's very,
I see.
yeah. For now, it does consume more.
Yeah.
So I tell her it's part of the journey to scale up now, right? We are not at, like say, let's take paper, for example. It's a very well-established, well-oiled machine already where you recycle it. If I tell you right now, how do we recycle paper?
I probably would know. Yeah.
You probably would know that process.
Break it down.
Yes.
Yeah, reconstitute.
That's right. So the players in the industries are also very established.
Already. Yeah.
And so the scale at which it's performed is also a lot easier.
Yeah.
And it consumes a lot less energy to make like a piece of paper
versus a cup.
Yeah, that's right. But when it comes to like say, what scale? We are looking at like 50 tons, 100 tons. In the scale of things, that's very small when it comes to manufacturing, when it comes to recycling, right? So it might not be the most eco-friendly product right now out there.
Yeah.
You say, is it 100% a green product? Which that's another question as well. Like what constitutes
so many
100%?
questions, right?
Yeah. Every single part of the process, every single decision made has its own deep dive of question inside there. So, but sometimes as a business owner, we just have to make it work.
Correct.
One way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's where it is. It's like, where do my values, are my values being compromised? The way that I justify it.
Yeah. Is this a real question you have? Right?
It is a real one that I ask every time, that even when I meet customers.
Yeah.
Actually, because these are things that I do also have to reply to my customers about. Or like so, a 14-year-old asked me question. I also have to justify it.
So maybe I can... It is a bit unorthodox because it's meant to be a podcast recording, right? But would you like me to coach you a little bit on this conversation?
Sure.
Or are you actually... Like you're very clear about where your awareness goes with all these things that you juggle with on a daily basis?
I have my answers, but I would like to hear. I like I said, I have to justify it, right?
I see.
Because I do have to make my I do still have to do the work.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
But I like to hear an external perspective on it.
Yeah. So when I said coaching you, I was going to explore with you what you already know. But if you say you already have your answers, and are you satisfied with them?
To a certain extent.
Okay.
I feel because first of all, I call it justification.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
It's whether or not it's right, it can see my skills and everything.
Understand. Okay.
And I think we live in an imperfect world.
Understand. Okay.
So in my mind, I feel it's a journey. Like how I mentioned, every little bit counts. You have to one Tetra Pak at a time.
Yeah.
One straw at a time.
Yeah.
We also have to do one step at a time, right?
Understand.
In order to I mean, this term gets overused a lot as well in sustainability. Move the needle, right? We need to move it a little bit, but it's not going to jump. It has to slowly creep its way up there, right? So I'd rather have an action than an inaction.
Understand.
In my mind.
Okay.
But it is still a very real struggle. Like, should I just look for the perfect product then? Wait for the perfect product, which I know at our scale, our resources, we don't have right now. We cannot attain that. Or should I just like do what we can first.
Understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try this. I need to do a little bit of contracting with you.
Okay.
Because normally you cannot just start coaching a person.
Okay.
It's not how we are trained and not what you're supposed to do.
Okay, tell me more about it.
I need to explain to you a little bit, and then if you agree, then we will proceed.
Okay.
Okay, so for the coaching process, right, it's basically just it's a bit like a discovery conversation.
Okay.
But the difference is that you may or may not choose to reveal like maybe deeper motivations or deeper feelings or thoughts.
Okay.
So because of this unusual context where we are being recorded in a podcast, I will leave that choice to you, right?
Okay.
So we can go ahead with the conversation, but then you would have to tell me specifically like, oh, I'm not comfortable mentioning something, or you're okay to go ahead and talk about that.
Okay.
Right? Because how the conversation works is always, we are already starting with what you know.
Okay.
And what you are aware of. And so far, I will assume that what you have shared with me is what you know and what you are aware of. Plus maybe missing some other details. Because what I'm receiving from you is that you have obviously given this a lot of thought over all these years. And in addition, you are still receiving questions that will still bring up the conflict, right? And go like, oh my God, that kid has a point.
Yeah.
And then like, okay, now I'll give you this answer. Even though I know it's not the most perfect answer, I can live with this current answer, but something inside still maybe, nags at me or bugs me a little. These are the vibes I'm getting so far.
Yeah.
Accurate?
Yes.
I'm nailing my listening, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. So in the coaching conversation, we may have a chance to see, is there a different way we can work with or approach the challenges that you see.
Okay.
So I'm not saying that suddenly the new product will appear or suddenly everyone is willing to pay you for your coffee grounds.
Yeah.
But maybe we can uncover a new way of looking at the work that you have obviously chosen to do and you're quite passionate about as well. Right?
Okay.
Even though you do sound a little bit like sian. A bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one is like, pardon my observation.
No, it is.
Yeah.
You are totally accurate about that.
Okay,
Because
okay.
again, we've been in this industry for 15 years.
Yes.
It moves so slowly.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know, sometimes it might be something that's in our control, something that's out of control due to the climate, like the industry climate.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
I can only internally reflect.
Yes.
That's all I can do.
So we can keep it interesting. So
Yeah.
I will ask you questions, like
Okay.
coaching questions. But along the way, if you feel like you want to ask me back from my opinion,
Okay.
or if maybe something that I ask might sound a little bit like, oh, you don't understand or what, right? You can still get me to elaborate. Basically, it's still a conversation.
Yep,
But maybe
okay.
I'll ask you questions to get you to reflect a bit deeper, and then we see what comes up.
Okay. Let's do it.
Sound good?
Let's
Okay.
do it. Yes.
All right. So, opening question.
Okay.
Based on everything that you already know, how would you describe the challenge that you still see working in this role? There are a few ways to look at it, right? You can say working in this role, or if you want to go even more like personal, it's like being you in this life that you're living. That one even like,
Wow,
it's
that's
even
very
more
deep.
yeah, it's even more deep. So I think there's a little bit of like choose your adventure, right? Some people like to dive right in, but
Yep.
some people find it easier to like, okay, let's talk about work first. That's a bit safer. And then if there are extra facets of my inner world coming up, then we'll deal with it when they come up.
Yeah.
So depends which vibe you're.
Well, I would have to say I haven't really dived that deep
Sure.
into like the second option.
Yeah. So
because it's really deep.
So work as a context easier.
Maybe, yeah.
All right.
Let's start off
Okay.
with work
Yeah.
and let's see where it goes.
Yeah. So lament to me in like, I don't know, like if you give me the cliff notes of the struggles of being in the sustainability
do we have enough
business.
time?
Yeah. If you talk faster, then maybe we
might go
can.
faster.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
The cliff notes of the struggle.
Yes.
First of all, I think personally, so A1 environment,
Yeah.
what I do, is a passion project. I do have my bread and butter,
Understand.
right, which I need in order to supplement me pursuing this passion
Got it.
project. That's
Yeah.
so a little bit more context there as well.
Okay.
So you're right. This is entirely driven by like pure passion, right? I mean, we do earn a little bit, but it's like, it is
what it is.
Yes, that's right.
Understand.
And the struggle I feel is we are tied down by very old school ways.
Okay.
We're a very small company as well.
Yeah.
We don't have the resources to say, hey, let's get a consultant in and like, let's revamp the whole company.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's get a new online software. That is also a struggle of whether we should invite.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it becomes a struggle where it's it seems like it's like me and my colleague, usually the ones making the major decisions, but we are bogged down by our day-to-day operations.
I see.
You know, we are bogged down by what we have to do every day. That just trying to move out of that. Yeah. Is also a struggle.
I see.
Right. So I feel that might be the biggest if I boil it down, right?
Yeah.
We hold a lot of baggage from doing things the old school way.
I see.
I mentioned, we used to do paper, right?
Correct.
And that's a very antiquated
industry,
system.
and system as well. Yeah.
But doing it the new way, because it's actually a working system. It's just clunky.
I see.
Right? But we cannot just, snap of a finger, let's move everything ahead.
Yeah, why cannot? If like everyone's agreeable, if the idea is there, why can't it be like, and we...
Because it's expensive to do so.
I see. So this is like can throw money at it, and then technically if I got enough money to throw at it, I can solve it kind of problem?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Then wouldn't the obvious thing be to be like, let's go get the money?
Yeah, so we have tried. But I think how my partner likes to put it, right? He's more old school, I'm more new school. And I'm very new at the new school as well because I learn everything on the job.
Yeah.
Right? So we had never actually like raised funds before for our company. For him, he has raised funds or not funds lah. He has gone for grants and everything before, but as part of an MNC. Right, it's very different kind of environment over there, and the way you do things. So, and when we say, hey, let's change, like let's introduce a new, let's even like fundraise. Right. To him, that he feels we're not. It shows that we cannot earn enough money in order to. Like, why must we raise funds? Is it because we're not doing well? That's his mindset.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
So,
interesting.
but not to put everything on him, right?
Of course.
Because on my end, it's like, because it's so new.
Yeah.
Right? I also have to say, okay, are we actually ready to raise funds?
Yeah.
Right? Because we are, I feel our product is not quite there yet.
I see. Okay.
Our system, again, comes from the old one. We are trying to slowly change it, but it doesn't change so fast, right? So when I look out at people who are raising funds in other companies, I've never gone through a system like that myself. But it seems like, hey, they have it put together.
Right? It's like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They know their stuff. Yeah. And everything seems very like...
Yes, that's right.
But then you don't feel that way. You don't see A1 as being...
I don't see ourselves at that position yet.
Okay.
Like, I feel like we're not ready. I feel like you're definitely more ready than we were like 3 years ago. Right? But it's still so many things to put together.
Yeah.
All right. So, but like you said, it's if you throw money at it, it's those kind of things that can solve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not the thing that is bugging you, right?
I guess okay. Maybe this is going down into like the question, the option 2 a little bit as well.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sure.
But yeah, I feel if I put more time into it as well,
I see.
it can work.
But
because this is a passion project that I do like on the side.
I see.
And I feel I cannot give it up. there's so much more work to do. We're almost there.
Yeah.
It always seems like we're almost there. But people still gotta eat, you know. Like I still gotta put food on my table. I still gotta put clothes on my back. Yeah. So I maybe the internal struggle for me would be like, is this enough for me to say, okay, this is my passion, I'm going to go for it entirely? Or like, I'm being very pragmatic and say, okay, I need to earn money first.
Yeah.
But that's how I treat A1 as well, you know. I need to put money on the table for everyone. I cannot just say like, hey, we're going to go like in the red for a few months and then, everybody cannot eat, that kind of thing. Like,
that mindset, what you just said about I cannot put everyone in the red for a few months and we cannot eat just to like go for things, right?
Yeah.
Is that yours or everyone feels the same way?
Everyone feels the same way.
Okay. So there is consensus.
Yes.
It's not like you because the reason why I ask is because what if let's say the whole team said, okay, we're all willing to go into the red for 2 months or 3 months and we just, you know.
I'm actually more willing to go for it than them.
I see.
So then they're like, no, we actually have stuff.
Yeah.
Right? We cannot say, hey, you work for free.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Actually,
That's right.
But yeah, so I think the struggle for me on that side is like, I don't know whether it's just telling myself that's holding myself us back, or is it them? So we do have to make okay, then sorry, there's so many facets to this, right?
Yeah.
So we have to make certain business decisions.
Correct.
That we have to deal with. So as a sustainability company, for example, okay, I think let's give you this example to sort of put everything in context, to set the stage for it, which is I said that we cannot do everything here in Singapore because it's too expensive.
Yep.
We have to do it in a place like Vietnam.
Sure.
This involves like shipping stuff over to Vietnam.
And a list of,
it's the carbon footprint and shipping back. And then making a product that, we do still use a little bit of plastics inside there. It's not a perfect product. People ask us, hey, why are you making this product if it's not perfect yet?
Yeah.
Right? And then I just say, I have to do something lah. If not.
Why? Why do you have to do something?
Because I believe that every step counts.
Okay.
Right? So I tell myself from a marketer's point of view, this is purely for optics. We have to do it because it gives the clients, it gives audiences, it gives members of the public hope that there is something that can be made, right?
Yeah.
It might not be perfect.
Yeah.
But at least we're doing something.
Okay.
And business-wise, it gives us a foothold. So that we can move on to making a better product, a better process.
Yeah.
Right. But if I stay at the old place, I cannot move ma.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So actually, even to push out this new product that time, it was also a little bit of like, should I? It's not a great product. It's not 100% product. I know in terms of marketing, I shouldn't be saying this as well. But let's be real lah, right?
Correct.
If we're talking about greenwashing and stuff, which is where you say this product is entirely sustainable. It's not.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
I cannot do that.
Yeah.
Right. So I have to be very real as well, especially with an educated audience right now.
100%.
It's not 100% product. It's not a perfect product. But I have to do it.
Yeah.
Because if I don't do it, we will be stuck in the place of how.
Correct.
Like nothing we're doing is working.
Yeah.
Then I might as well just live on.
So when I hear you share, right, I hear the versions of you from the past and the versions of you that have acknowledged what needs to be done, even though it might be imperfect. And these two versions of you sound very, very different.
Is it?
Yeah. The version of you that's stuck in the past is stuck in the past because you are clear about the limitations of, old school systems, old school products, pre-established players in this, like, for example, the paper thing. That's an example of the old. And then this new version of you is very clear that you acknowledge the imperfection, right? But you see very clearly the reasons why you still push forward. because you speak about it with a lot of conviction. Like I buy in. I feel like I feel the buy-in as well. Listen to you share. But then my question is, how come that's not enough to push harder or to still move forward? Because for me, I think that's a very convincing sell. Yeah, you tell me upfront, this is not a perfect product. You tell me X number of reasons why you're still doing it, right? To give the people hope, to still kind of like learn and move the business, etc.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I get it, right? And like you said, if it's an educated audience, then we cross finger, hope and pray, right? That they get it too. And maybe they want to support us in this journey. That's my assumption. That's my like idealistic thing, right? So I'm then curious then, if you already know these things, because you speak about them, cannot be not in your awareness, what's still holding you back?
I feel this where like the business, like behind the scenes, there's a lot of business negotiations that are happening. Because it's not just like, say, the production company.
Yeah.
The manufacturing company. It's not here, it's run by someone else. Right? So
actually, you're not fully autonomous in that sense.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So in one sense, like I'm fully. I think it took me quite a while to even get to this stage as well.
Yeah.
Like to even understand like, hey, I cannot do some things, but I'm just not sure whether it's and because of that, right? There were so many times where I'm like, is this worth it or not?
Yeah, right. I think that's
why
an operative question.
Yeah, I ask the question to myself all the time as well. It's not just like, is this product worth it? It's really like,
is this journey,
what am I doing?
Is this path? Yeah,
that's right. If I'm being held back by business decisions, which I feel is like so ridiculous. Sometimes, like, you know, we say we're trying to do good for the earth. We're trying to be sustainable. We're trying to, do the best. But when it comes down to it, everybody's looking at their bottom line and their profit margin, right? And if I don't think about it that way, I might be driving the whole company down because we live in such a system, right? If I don't earn a certain amount of profit, it can be very detrimental to such a small company like us. So, that's where the morality versus, am I compromising the values that I supposedly preach about?
Correct.
I try to balance it out by being very real with audience, even with students. I was talking to students a couple of days ago. I just tell them there's nothing glamorous about it. Yeah. Right. And I don't believe in social enterprise. Right. You have to earn money. Yeah. If not, how are you going to feed people? Yeah. Right. I know that people who are in social enterprises will argue their own point, but that I think is also outside the point. Right.
So where are we left now, right? In terms of a potential maybe direction or a decision that you feel needs to be made? Because so far we have spoke about just where we're stuck, right?
Yeah. I feel like I think that's where I'm stuck in terms of, especially from a marketing point of view, right? I should be marketing this more.
I see.
But I don't. I mean, I can say it's budget lah. Budget is one thing and stuff. But the truth of the matter is, I cannot be... I feel like I cannot be like a lot of other products out there. When I look at it, I say, this is just another product with another name put on it. But it might not be entirely green. Right? Like, I cannot say that this is a green product. So I don't try shout it out. Yeah, exactly. Right? And that's where I feel like there's a hurdle over there. Right? Very, very internalized hurdle.
No? Yeah. It's good that you know that it's internalized, right? Do you know like what would help you go over the hurdle? I'm not asking for a solution. I'm asking about you being able to see like, are there things that you need to find out, or is truly a blank regarding this internalized hurdle?
It's not truly a blank since I've been thinking about it for a little bit. I think it might be where, at least for me, a personal solution is where I am just very real, right? Taking in my own personality and taking in like the way that I do things.
Yeah.
I just need to be very real, not to myself only, but also to the audience,
Okay.
right?
But you already know this, right? This is your current coping mechanism,
This is
right?
my coping
By being
mechanism.
real, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But that's not the ideal, right? Or it is?
I'm not sure. That's the thing. I think I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think I'm not sure.
Okay,
Right?
so it's about uncertainty.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if it was the solution, then technically we have no problem.
Yeah, that's right.
But we feel like, but you do sound like there is a struggle, right?
I
So
feel
there is
like I don't know.
Okay, so it's around uncertainty.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Where because people who come up to sell a product, they're like, oh, very sure.
Yeah.
This does this, right?
Yeah.
I cannot. I will like be very, very, very upfront.
Correct.
Like this can only do ABC for you.
So much. Right?
Yeah, that's right. But let's be real lah. Like you're looking for an entirely green product, it's not really there lah. Then they're like, oh, okay. But the clients get it as well. I think I've been trying it out on like closer clients or like people who I've been talking to for a longer period of time. This is very upfront. I tell them, this will do this for you.
Yeah.
But it cannot do this for you.
So what would you say is the gap between the reality that you acknowledge versus the passion or the ideal that you started off this journey with? Because sustainability, you come into this space, you feel passionate about it because I'm assuming you had a certain thing that you're gunning for. Then now that we are in the coffee grounds, into cup space, it feels like there's more of the, okay, I have to acknowledge what's real and I'm willing to communicate what's real.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like you feel great about having to communicate what's real. You know that it is correct to communicate what's real.
Yeah.
But you don't look joyful or like
I think like I say, it's very sian, right? But I think it's just to me it's a very down to earth thing. Like because I've been talking to the same people. My clients, thankfully, a lot of our clients are very long term clients.
Very loyal.
Very loyal.
They stay with you.
Right?
Okay.
They've been with us for years, ever since we started. And even the newer clients who come on as well, and even our partners.
Okay.
Right? Who work together.
I'm not talking about your clients. I'm talking about you.
So your question is
my question is why do you think there is this difference? Like from the beginning you're so passionate, I want to be in this space, but then in today, 15 years ahead, it's a bit like, oh, I have so many things to acknowledge.
I just feel it's taking very long.
Okay.
Yeah. Like
it should be faster.
It should be faster. And I think having everyone acknowledge that it is like there are certain green ways of doing things and there are like certain not. And then there's like the money making side of it. And like why are we using money as an excuse to not be able to do good the best we can?
Understand.
Right. So maybe I have a very romantic idea. Like I mentioned, right? We are just one part of a whole machine.
Yes.
Right. When we started coffee recycling, we really was we had to set up a system that was not there.
Yeah.
Right. And as we collect more coffee grounds, the system needs to grow. And then we have the end products, and different end products have the system just becomes a little bit bigger, right? We're trying to put it simply, make it something like a system that is as intuitive as making paper.
Yeah, correct.
Right, or recycling paper, I would say. But it is to get, we know we cannot do it ourselves. It has to come with so many people.
Yeah.
But when you talk to other people, then again, it's like, why should I do it for you?
Yeah.
Right? Why should I do this when, whatever I'm doing is okay. It's earning me enough money. Or like they'll say, that's a good idea, but it doesn't earn me enough money.
Correct.
Right. I'll just ask you to try. And they're like, try. Do you know how much it will cost me to try?
Yeah. So that's the pushback, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's the pushback that we usually get. But I feel, what's, I cannot say what's the harm because they tell me what's the harm, right?
Yeah,
it's actual bottom line.
Correct. It's the actual bottom line. Yeah.
So it's when you have constant pushback. When I have constant pushback, now I'm like,
the sian, that creates the sian.
Yes.
I see.
It creates sianness. And I think it's also layered on with, I see a lot of startups come up.
Yeah.
And startups, they burn bright.
Yeah. And then
huge amount of money, like investment, like wow, with the investment, wow, we can do so much with it. And then like 5 years later, you don't see them around anymore. Which is frustrating as well. But you're thinking like,
but yet A1 has been around for 15 years, right?
Yeah, that's right. Like 12 plus years, yes.
See?
Yeah. So it's just this frustration of like, hey, am I doing this right or not? Right? Or is this supposed to go faster? Is this,
Yeah.
I think that's where the sianness comes from.
Understand.
Right? It is just slow burn until you, like, you watch a Netflix series, it could have been 3 episodes, but you're dragging it to 20, right? So, yeah.
So maybe I can leave you with this question, right? Knowing what you know, like you know there's the burnout, you know it's a slow burn, you know you have all this pushback, right? What would you say you can still attempt or try to change that can help you not feel so sian? Because that seems to be the major thing you keep repeating.
That's true. I repeat it because you also realize that, hey, I'm like outwardly sian, right? And I don't mean to be, right? And I think it's just very like the kind of very jaded thing. But that's a good question. I think that's the question that I'm asking myself at the moment as well.
Okay.
And I think it's not just me. I've met a lot of sustainability professionals who have been asking the same question.
Sure.
So, right. Okay, but we're not talking about them. We're talking about me right now. I think I haven't found the answer because I've been asking, right? And for me is what I think would help is if we actually got the next step. Like that can be getting an investment. Yeah. Right? That can be getting the new product that we've been working on for years right now. Right? Because everything has just been such a slow burn. I think it's just time for something to reach the milestone that we've been trying to reach for a while.
Okay. Maybe we can end by me offering you a little something from what I've learned about you and experienced from you. Mm-hmm. I feel that you are still a very passionate individual about this space, despite all the stuff that you have gone through and are still constantly seeing. I do think that if I put on my comms and PR hat, there can be a lot more shouting out about the realities of the strength that you all have. I think it's very interesting that you mentioned that the startups, a lot of money, then burn away, but yet you are still around. I feel like things that you see as maybe limitations or things that create the sianness could maybe be repackaged into a way of like strength that A1 actually has, and that can be part of the fundraising pitch that you put to investors.
Like they're not flaws, they're actually the strengths.
Yes, it's just a way of how you message it. And like the part that I feel the most connected to was about how you're still in it after so long, right? And how you're still trying to balance this whole, like, I see the reality and I stick by that because that's my value. But at the same time, how do we put reality with fire and passion as well?
Yeah.
Right? Because there is value in you saying that the customers have stuck with you for so long. I think that's something worth looking into, and you really should investigate that. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Thank you so much for allowing me to so-called like suddenly coach you. I
No,
hope it was
thank you.
it was of some help.
Yeah, I think it dived down into some questions that I maybe have been asking myself, but not going down the right direction in, or like some questions also I just didn't want to ask look too much into, right? So I think it's given me a lot to ponder about. And you give me an action item to do as well, you know. Look at why my clients are
so loyal.
So that's right. We must be doing something right, right? So thank you so much.
Thank you,
Xing Jian. And I hope that for any other sustainability professionals listening out there as well who might be the same, because I've spoken to a few of you.
Yes.
To also take Xing Jian's questions into
and see if it's useful.
See whether it's useful, right? I know it's very personal for me. But hopefully it gives spark some light at the end of the tunnel for each and every one of you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.